So let's talk about tracing.
I mentioned it in my final Synergy review, and I was later pointed out that not everyone knows what it means to trace something. Tracing something can for the most part be compared to what a tattoo artist does. He looks at the picture and then duplicates it onto your skin.
Which can hurt. Just wanna let everyone out there know that. Got a huge fucking A on my back.
Tracing is done by many more people than I dare count, which, and this may surprise you, isn't a good thing. When tracing art, it's pretty much the same as burning a music CD. Someone has made an original thing, and then you copy it, most of the time adding your own little tweaks to it. Now, these facts are coming from probably the most sketchy source around, but from what I could gather, tracing isn't exactly illegal. It is, however, extremely frowned upon.
Time to lose some subscribers.
I actually don't discourage tracing as much as most people, and I don't because it is a most excellent learning tool. There is a difference in learning with your brain and learning with your pencil, and by tracing certain things it becomes much more obvious to yourself why things are made as they are. You should, however, credit the original work you traced at any given time.
As you may have guessed, there's a nice thin line between doing it right and being a cunt.
And today's artist is, as you may have guessed, in the latter category. Jackie Diaz, hot as hell as she may be, has claimed to haven't traced a single frame of her comic.
Which is funny, cause I could hardly find a single frame that wasn't traced. So, to celebrate the rebirth of the Avatar series, and to give you probably the best example of tracing on the net, here's how I became yours.
Avatar: The Last Airbender premiered in 2005. Those who initially dismissed it as a simple repackaging of a tired concept for the teen crowd were soon forced to eat their words. Through its 3-year run, Avatar pushed the bounds of Western animation with memorable characters, epic and sometimes dark storylines, and often breathtaking production values. That it would garner such a fiercely devoted fanbase came as a surprise to no one. The creators gracefully ended the show in 2008, but are today working on a sequel called The Legend of Korra.
And you do not want me to go fanboy on that in this episode. I've been told it's rather scary and emasculating.
Because Avatar was so popular with pretty much everyone, no matter age, sex or race, its fanbase was massive.
And like every fanbase, it was but a question of time before more and more fanfiction appeared. Most of it involving fucking, like most fanfiction that is brought to my attention.
How I Became Yours is no different. It is a perfect example of what pretty much the majority of all the fanfiction was about when it came to Avatar, which is completely ignoring the ending of the series. At the end of the series, the protagonist Aang and his companion Katara hook up, which was heartwarming and what a lot of fans wanted.
And then there were the fans who were against this.
These fans thought more that one of the antagonists of the series, who later had a change of heart, Zuko, was more fitting to hit it up with Katara. Jackie Diaz took the step in full length, and didn't just make this matchup, but also sell others, which, if you are a fan of the series,
Which I am.
was a huge slap in the face.
And the matchups are so weak. One matchup completely ignores deeds and preferences of both the people in the matchup, while one needed a complete change of one of the characters' persona caused by amnesia. No. Bad counter. No. We're not having a running gag with a counter again. It doesn't work. No, go on. Go out. You can leave your clinging noise at the desk.
So Katara and Zuko are all lovey-dovey, but decided to part ways for reasons unknown. Or rather, it may be found in this huge ocean of text. But okay, it's not like I've not been confronted with big walls of text before. After all, I read 8-bit theater and Control-Delete. But then there's the spelling errors. And we are talking a quota here for about one spelling mistake for every sentence.
I'm not even English, and I write my scripts just by doing this on a keyboard, and I have less typos than this.
Anyway, it's been 3 years since Katara and Zuko parted ways, and that's the same amount of time that's supposed to have passed since the end of the Avatar series. During that time, Toph, a blind earthbender, has taken over her family and is now ruler of over 25% of the world. What gets to me is that she's been in touch with people. How? There are no phones and she can't very well neither write nor receive letters. She's fucking blind.
Or maybe she isn't. Diaz has already changed her so much it would be a wonder if she's still blind.
Katara has been trying to contact Zuko for the span of those 3 years through mail, but he hasn't received any mail because his wife May has intercepted it and kept them from him. He eventually finds out through Suki wait, why is Suki a servant? Why she got... This isn't Suki?
I can't wait to talk about this arc now.
To make matters worse, Sokka finds some strangers stabbed and decides to take her home to mend her wounds, yet never thinks about removing her mask. Given it would ruin the suspense for the epic reveal later, but it's not exactly like Diaz is a master in the arts of writing. Like here later on during Katara's birthday, and they make this huge build up to show someone showing up, but because of poor execution, Diaz shows who it is in one of the very first frames. Riser's offer tip number 7. When doing a reveal, don't give it away during the build-up. That's common sense. Frankly, I don't want to go through the entirety of the story like this. Most of all because if I did, I would never get to finish. The story is set up like a porno, yet executed like one of those drama series your mom always watches. The setups are so horrible and badly thought out, with stuff such as talking loudly to yourself while other people unintentionally listens in on it.
But what did I just say? We don't need a counter gag. Come on, shoot! Get the fuck out of here! I'm not paying.
The execution is just as poor, seeing it's pretty much like any women romance book or comic I've ever read. It's all about describing how perfect a date would be if it went like this and that. Stuff such as sailing in a beautiful lake, being offered a hand when leaving the boat, running in the pouring rain, shit like that.
Whatever happened to sit at home with a few beers, some burger and chips while watching Iron Man? That's how I scored my ex.
Had this story been handled by a better writer, I dare say the idea wouldn't be all too bad. The idea of Zuko and Katara being in a relationship and what diplomatic troubles it may cause, along with jealousy by a powerful third party, could be interesting to see. But here it drowns in spelling errors, characters acting differently to suit the mood, and enough tears to drown a small nation. Seriously, look at this shit. Everyone cries! Riser's artist tip number 2. Crying is for the most part actually the weakest way of showing sadness. If you can show sadness without tears, it usually makes it that much more powerful.
And let me tell you why they do that.
I want to go into this a little different. Normally I would give the artist the benefit of the doubt, especially when I don't have any proof. But Jackie Diaz, no matter how much she denies it, is a tracer. I mentioned that everyone cries, and here is the reason. It's because there's only so many expressions she can use from the original series where the characters look sad. So she is just adding tears that can make any expression look sad, more or less.
Cheap tricks will only get you that far, Miss Diaz.
What? I didn't steal anything. Who told you that? It was you! You ratted me out!
Even the most untrained eye will be able to tell that these drawings are traced. And it's not even like she's trying to hide it. She reuses the same frame over and over again, maybe zooming in every now and then. Sometimes she even forgets Zuko's scar because the initial picture she traced has just been flipped. Toph is constantly wearing the same garb and looking sideways, which is traced from the episode where her and Katara go for a girls' night out. Why? Because it's the only time where she wears makeup.
And then there are times where shit really hits the fan.
Aang has grown up over the previous years, or rather his body has. His head is still that of a 12-year-old. So you're seeing an adult man walking around with the head of a toddler. Looks kinda creepy. Or we can return to the scene where Suki is being treated as a servant. It's obviously Suki, but I guess Diaz just couldn't find anyone else to play that role. The tracing is so obvious if you just sit and look at it. If two people are in the same shot, most of the time the angles on each person is different. Some of the times she reuses the same two frames repeatedly, over 12 times in a row.
Even Toph would be able to tell that these things are traced. And she's blind!
The worst offender is, without a doubt, this picture. Fuck me purple, what the hell is going on here? I'm not even going to come with a guess. What about you guys? I mean, this should be the nail in the coffin. It's the same picture, and to emphasize that Aang is laying down, all Diaz does is tilting Aang to make him lay down. This doesn't just look retarded, but makes Zuko peer right up Aang's airbending chamber. The comic is made to look pretty for the sake of looking pretty. Every background is some real life picture of some beautiful places you'd find around the world, from things such as buildings, gardens, and this picture that is directly stolen from Avatar that Diaz claims she owns. In fact, this comic helps me confirm one of the theses I have made, based on something I heard a Japanese shoujo manga author say during an interview. When girls make comics, they make as much as possible a still photo that looks pretty. One that they could use for screen caps or whatever. While men are more focused on making a few very pretty or cool pictures in every 100 strips.
Just saying, it was the same with Pokesimichu. I love boobies.
With that out of the way, let's ignore for a second that every girl in this comic has a perfect pair of double Ds. Shit, even Toph, who by my calculation should only be around 15 or 16 years old at this point, is stacked. None, and I repeat, none of these characters stay true to the original. And really, you followed them throughout almost 3 seasons. It can't be that hard to figure out how each character works.
It's like saying Bart Simpson is the intellectual one, and Maggie Simpson works at a power plant.
The protagonist Katara is probably the one who stays the most true to her original character, seeing she's always been a clever, considerate and helping young girl, which she also is in this comic. But then there's the rest. The most staggering one is everyone's favorite earthbender, Toph. Now, I won't lie, Toph was by far my favorite character in the entire series. She was so unique, so unladylike. She was the type of person who would show affection by punching your shoulder. Here, she's wandering around in pretty dresses, acting like Katara's humble servant. Plus, why is she with Aang? They never shared any kind of emotional bond other than trainer and trainee. If anything, it should be Sokka and Toph.
Oh, Sokka, you saved me. Mwah.
Actually, it's me.
Oh, well, you can go ahead and let me drown now.
Azula, Zuko's sister and another one of the main antagonists of the show, comes back with amnesia and her personality has completely changed. Never mind the fact that in the end of the series, she was batshit crazy and throughout her time on the show managed to lay siege to one of the biggest cities of the entire world. No, let's have her be all lovey-dovey with Sokka for no apparent reason.
Anybody got a problem with that?
Actually, yeah, I do. Because earlier in the comic he points a sword at her. And not only that, but Azula has on several occasions also tried to kill Sokka and is even by proxy responsible for his mother's death. I guess Jackie Cruz just thought, well, I've already paired up one water tribe with a fire tribe, might as well make it 2 for 2. Aang is not like himself either. For a monk, he sure loves getting drunk and have sex before marriage. Plus, why Toph? Why not Katara? I mean, are we just supposed to act as if nothing in the cartoon where Aang shows affection for Katara ever happened?
It's great that you want to make an epilogue, but look at the Legend of Korra. That is how it's supposed to be done, not this.
This comic is a doozy. It really shouldn't be that hard to write a fanfic in the world of Avatar, seeing the world is so perfectly made for you. There's a lot that is unexplained and left for people to expand on their own. But Jackie Cruz doesn't manage to do this. Instead she fails to tell the story as much as she fails to hide the fact that she's a huge tracer. The premises are 4. The story has a nice idea going for it, but it is not executed all that well. The tons of dialogue filled to the brim with character breaks and spelling errors only helps you to be more confused in an otherwise really basic story. The art is a 1. No points is awarded to cheaters here. She can claim all she wants that she doesn't trace dick, but everyone with half a brain can tell she traces, and even does a horrible job at it. The backgrounds are not art, they are pictures, so no points there either, and the mix between the art and the pictures are horrible. The characters are a 2. It's amazing how you can fuck up pre-made characters. It's like being asked to build a car, and you get a finished car delivered, and then trash it into a nuke. All in all, the comic is a 2. Fuck you, Jackie Cruz. Fuck you and your shitty comic and your shitty tracing. This comic sucks big time. It shouldn't be hard to build on a story that's already there, but Jackie here fucks it up big time. It's boring and a direct insult to any Avatar fans.
So what did we learn today? I don't know. Jackie Diaz is hot. Oh, and then there's the thing with tracing. Yeah, anyway. I'll see you guys in the next Webcomic. Take care. Fuck. Probably not the best idea to torch the place.